Welcome to episode number 379 of the Marine Layer podcast. It's a mailbag episode, so we'll open it up and answer your best listener questions.
Reminder to you guys, if you're listening to this podcast, go do us a huge favor. Make sure you're downloading these podcast episodes. If you're listening, go rate and review and leave a 5-star review, whether you're on Apple, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on any of the audio platforms. It really does help a ton if you do. So go leave that 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and go hit subscribe. You see that subscribe button in front of you, right? It's free, takes 2 seconds, helps the channel a ton. Go hit subscribe on YouTube if you're watching. You can also go to our website, marinelayerpod.com. All of our merch is there, guys. Seriously, less than a week toward opening day. Got a chance to go get some Marine Layer Pod merch? Go get your merch to wear out to the park this year, to wear to the grocery store, to wear with friends, wherever. You can find our Patreon there. You can find our episodes there. That's all at marinelayerpod.com. And you can check us out across social media at Marine Layer Pod.
Let's get it rolling.
The pitch from Acevedo. A drive deep to right field. Down the line. The Mariners win this game 2-1. The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. 1-1 from Gant. There you go. Left field. We got a tie ball game. Julio. Oh, baby, what a moment. Tie ball game is 7-7.
And we welcome you to this episode of the Marine Layer podcast, part of the Just Baseball Podcast Network, recording here on Thursday afternoon, March 19th. Congratulations, Logan Gilbert. He is the Mariners' opening day starter for the second consecutive season, as expected.
It is 1, deserved, and 2, it's a necessity. They had to do it. Logan deserves it, and they also had to do it.
So, Logan, now that you got this, time for an extension. That's next. I don't want to hear another opening day start announcement for him. What I want to hear is, well, maybe one of 2 things. He either wins the Cy Young this year, or he's signing an extension. Preferably both.
I was going to say, how about he signs the extension and then wins the Cy Young?
That's perfect. That works for me. He can do that.
Right? And I'll ante it up here. Can it happen in the next week? Can we do it before opening day starts like Cal last year?
It would have been... What day of the week was it? The Tuesday before opening day he signed?
Yeah, because I remember we were over with our friends at Queen Anne Beer Hall that morning when we saw Cal sign the extension. And it was, I believe, 2 to 3 days before opening day. I believe it was that Tuesday.
Right. So that would mean the 24th. Let's sign Logan Gilbert on March 24th on Tuesday.
Great. I could not be more thrilled if that were to happen.
Great. No pressure, Logan, if you're hearing this. Time to sign the dotted line, buddy. I hope the Mariners, too, on their end, have come forward and made a sizable offer with this. They're like, hey, man, we just made you the opening day starter for the second consecutive year. You mean a ton to us. Here's the number. Here's $150 million. Are you willing to sign that right now?
I mean, we kind of told Logan that in spring training. We're like, can you want to put that pen to paper? You want to sign the
But
extension?
it does take 2 to tango. I think he wants to.
I hope so.
I think for a number, a good number he wants to.
Also, I'd say the catcher wants it too. I think that's fair to say, right?
And he's got some pretty significant influence. The sort of pact he made with the Mariners when he signed, he's like, we got to invest too. And I'd say near the top of Cal Raleigh's list is signing his buddy Logan Gilbert.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Well, let's do it in the next week.
It doesn't always even have to be like a smart contract, Lyle. Like all of these extensions or free agent signings are a bit of a risk. Could you predict that the 5 years of Josh Naylor's contract will be as fruitful in his 30s as they were the previous 5 years in his 20s? Could you?
No, you can't know, but you also could not roll into this season with the potential of running Luis Arraez out at first base.
Well, he's a second baseman.
No, I forgot. A really good one, too. I mean, haven't you looked at his defense? He is spectacular.
And he's been hitting for some power, too.
I mean, listen, if you weren't a fan of Jorge Polanco's defense, get ready to learn Luis Arraez if he had been here.
There's no promise that if you were to sign Logan Gilbert to an extension that it would age great. Starting pitcher free agent contracts can be kind of risky, but if you're going to sign anyone in this rotation right now, right this second, it's going to be him. So you might as well take the risk. And if your process in this rotation is you have 4 guys who are primed for extensions, and you're going to sign half of them, the half should be Brian Wu and Logan Gilbert.
Yes, for sure. The Mariners are not going to be able to keep this whole group. I will say, to their credit so far, there has not been a true core impact player that they've so far let go from this group. Everybody stayed so far.
Now, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird when the first one leaves.
And I wonder who the first one's going to be. Well, I have a prediction. Do you?
Do you count J.P. Crawford?
Not really. I mean, look, he's been a core part of the team, but no, because everybody's seen the writing on the wall with that one. On the wrong side, or is he 30 this year, or is he going to be 31?
JP?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
He's about to be point being on the wrong side of 30. His defense is basically gone. I don't know if, basically gone might not be a fair word. His range is certainly gone.
He's 31 right now.
Yeah, so wrong side of 30. The defensive metrics do not like him. The Mariners have their replacement and successor waiting in the wings. I think everybody sees the writing on the wall with that one. But my prediction for this is George Kirby will be the first one that goes.
And that makes sense. I would still count JP as part of this core, though, even if the writing is on the wall. I feel like writing is on the wall for Kirby. I mean, we've went through the check marks of extension. Check mark number 1 of extension. Potential for more ceiling, or your ceiling is we've seen your ceiling and it's really good. Haven't seen it. Not yet. Get the idea that someone would be comfortable staying on the West Coast long term. Have not gotten that. And I just feel like it's been a consensus among media types, both spoken and written, that of all these guys, George Kirby is going to be the one that just goes back to New York and plays near his home. Which, if he wants to do it, it's more credit to him. I would almost put that in the same bucket as JP. It's just a little farther away right now.
Yeah.
Therefore, you don't have to think about it as much.
No, and you won't keep all these pitchers, but Logan Gilbert just feels like one that could get done. And it's not going to be easy with him either, because similar, East Coast guy, lives in Florida in the offseason, it's far away from home. But there's also a lot of things that he seems to like about this organization, about the guys he plays with, and about the catcher he has a chance to throw to for 10-plus years if he signs this extension. There's a lot. I think Logan is more open to it. At least that's the sense I get than somebody like Kirby.
I wonder, man, what number would make him say yes? The number that everyone's basing Logan Gilbert off of, which I don't think is a terrible comp, is the Dylan Cease number, which is 7 for 210. Extensions are usually a little bit lower because they're just guaranteeing it. You don't have to go to free agency. You don't have to risk teams not being interested in you. You don't have to risk injury right now. This is a guaranteed number we'll give you right now without you having to work a single second more. So I'll take that number down then a little bit. Because it's not going to be, the Mariners aren't going to pay him $210 as an extension. Would he go for 6 years for $160 million?
I've always said 6 for $180. Feels like the one he would definitely say yes to. Because that's 6 years. That'd be $30 million a year. And that's really good money.
But I think the Mariners would want the AAV of that to be lower than Dylan Cease's. 6 for $180 is the same AAV as Dylan Cease, just 30 less total dollars.
$1 million.
Yeah, $30 million less total dollars on the contract. Because you would still end up paying Logan Gilbert at least average throughout the contract $30 million. And the goal of this, if you're going to extend him, is to not pay him what he would get on the open market.
Sure. You can try. I mean, look, 6 for $160 is a really good lump of cash. That's $26.5 million a year, essentially. And that would be a hard thing to turn down. But if you're Logan in his camp and you see what Cease got, and you say, look, I'm still going to take a little bit of a hometown discount here. So can we go the less years, but you pay me the same AAV?
The thing that Logan, that really, as we keep mentioning, works against Logan is the timing of his free agency. How willing are teams going to be to spend after a lockout if they do miss some games with a potential new structure of a potential new structure of a baseball, a monetary structure, and these owners having less cash on hand. How is that going to affect it? Is the market going to sag a little bit? Are salaries going to regress? You kind of want to hedge against that because then you could get to free agency and all of a sudden the deals on the table are 3 years for $90 million, which is more, it's more AAV than 6 for 60. So 6 for 160, but it's not as much total money. And you pick total money and longevity and a little more security.
Sure. Here's the other part of this, too. We mentioned it on a recent episode. I'll say it here again because it pertains to this Logan Gilbert conversation. The Mariners currently sit 17th in payroll. That's not that high for a team trying to compete for a World Series. Now, let me be clear. We haven't hammered this storyline this offseason. There hasn't been a reason to hammer this storyline this offseason because they've gone out and done all the right things. They have put together a team on the field that is not just a championship caliber team, but it is such leaps and bounds better than what this team was 1 year ago. You look at the opening day lineup from a year ago and the roster from a year ago compared to what it is now, it's night and day. That being said, they're still 17th in the league in payroll. You've got money to spend, which you could, one, do at the deadline, but two, you could do with things like extending your own, like Logan Gilbert, because we know they're not going to go pay free agents. They've made that abundantly clear at this point, as much as it drives people crazy, often us included. They have made it pretty clear they're not going to go out and pay the big ticket for a marquee free agent. So spend it on your own guy instead.
And they might not have to, again, pay big ticket if they're extending. Because I think, if I'm reading this correctly, I have the AAV of every starting pitcher in Major League Baseball up, sorted from most expensive to least expensive. I believe the most expensive extension on here is Garrett Crochet's, and he's making $28.3 million, which falls short of Dylan Cease's contract. All those top guys are free agents. Let me rattle them off. Zach Wheeler's AAV king, $42 million. He was a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Framber was a free agent. DeGrom was a free agent. Snell was a free agent. Cole was a free agent. Corbin Burns was a free agent. Tarek Skubal, rare arbitration. That's like once in a century that happens. And then Dylan Cease.
And let's be clear. Tarek Skubal is going to be a free agent. If you watch 1 second of the WBC, Scott Boras made that very clear.
Right. But some of these other extension guys are below the 30 million mark. So I don't think Logan's going to break 30 on an extension. So that's why I feel like 6 for 160, given what he has done, and sort of some insurance against injuries, would be a solid one. Look at some of these other ones. Like Tyler Glasnow is an extension guy. He gets 27.3. Who else? Luzardo, who just got paid, he gits 27 on the dot.
So I think the Crochet comp you threw out is a good one because he got $28.5 million on his extension. I love Logan. I do. He's not quite Garrett Crochet. So if you look at Crochet's extension and you look at what you could do for Logan, then going back to your 6 years for $160 million number feels like a pretty reasonable extension. That's a little less than Crochet, but still pays him toward the top of the market among extended pitchers in baseball.
To be fair for Crochet, he wasn't as established. He was good, but he had not thrown the full season yet. Remember the White Sox, when they traded him to the Red Sox before he got paid, they were load managing the crap out of him.
They were, but he was really good in that year. You remember that final year he had in Chicago?
Yeah, he was really good. It's just when you guarantee someone that much money, you kind of want them to be the Garrett Crochet we saw last year, and he was.
Yeah. I will say, people really value strikeouts nowadays. That's why Dylan Cease got so much money, because despite the not bad ERA numbers, but ERA numbers that aren't going to jump off the page year over year. He's had some good years with the ERA and some tougher years with the ERA. People know he has so much value in the swing and miss and striking batters out that's why the Blue Jays are more than comfortable paying what they paid him. Garrett Crochet strikes a lot of batters out. As a result, gets the extension. You know what his strikeout rate was in Chicago the year before going to Boston? It was
30.
It was over 35%.
That's pretty good.
Garrett Crochet misses bats like crazy. And Logan Gilbert is in that boat. Logan Gilbert misses a lot of bats. So another reason to warrant an extension.
Another sales pitch to Logan if you were to sign an extension, he could get himself back to free agency sooner as well. So he could dip his toe in multiple times. So, Hey, Logan, you walk up to Logan Gilbert this year and you say, hey, Logan, we'll buy out your final 2 RBers. You'll get 4 years of free agency covered. And then if you're still feeling good and you're still pitching good, you can pull a Max Scherzer with the New York Mets. You can pull a Zach Wheeler with the Philadelphia Phillies. If you have hit the X percentile of starting pitchers and you age gracefully, then you can hit free agency and sign a 3-year deal that will pay you at that point $50 million a year.
Yeah, he'll have a shot. He'll also be 34 at that time when he'd be set for free agency again, which some guys do make that money.
Yep.
You
Zach Wheeler, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. It's possible.
It is. You also know that a lot of guys start to age out around that time. I'm not saying Logan will, but some guys do start to age out a bit. But yes, to your point, he would get another chance at free agency if he were to take the 6-year extension, for sure.
And it would be better one than it would be rolling out at age 36.
Right. Last year, in that first weekend of the season, after Cal got extended, you had left a few minutes before me to go somewhere else on that second game of the year, maybe third game of the year. You'd left a few minutes before me. I'm walking out through the tunnel after the Mariners game, and I passed by a lot of the family section where people are sitting and hanging out after the game to wait for a lot of the players to come out from inside the clubhouse. And I don't know if I told this story on the podcast or not, but I'll tell it now.
You told it to me.
I've told it to you. I might not have told it to the people. I ran into Logan Gilbert's dad and Bryce Miller's dad, both of which apparently are regular Marine Layer Pod listeners, which, what's up?
Because we met Bryce's parents again at the, no, was it at the playoff? Yeah, it was the playoff game, I think.
Right. Before my internal disaster ensued. Or not internal, external disaster.
Yeah, that's when it was all positive.
Right. It was before game 1 against the Tigers, before I had my full-blown meltdown. Anyway, after the first couple games of the season last year, I think it was after the third game, I met Logan Gilbert and Bryce Miller's dads, who apparently listen to the pod, which if you're listening right now, shout out to both of them. You guys are awesome. And we were talking about the Cal extension and talking about the team that was on the field last year. And I said to him, you know what would make me feel really awesome? They get Logan done too. And his dad had a smile when I said that. Obviously, he wasn't going to say anything groundbreaking, but I did say it to him. And he did say that Logan really likes it in Seattle, just like Logan said a bunch. So, Logan does like it here. No. I tried to make this.
So you're saying there's hope?
Listen, if nothing else, we are by the fans and for the fans. We have said that since the day we started this podcast. The only master we serve are the fans. That's it. And I'm sitting there thinking, listen, for the people, I've got a chance to make a sales pitch to a close family member of Logan Gilbert. I got to give it a shot. I did.
You did a great job.
Again, the only people we serve is the fans. That's for the fans. And,
so credit,
and selfishly for us, too. We want Logan Gilbert to stay because we're fans like everybody else.
So credit for the eventual Logan Gilbert extension will go number 1 to Logan Gilbert himself, number 2 to the Mariners, number 3 to the Marine Layer Pod.
Yeah. Well, the next time we have Logan on the pod, which if you haven't listened to our Logan Gilbert interview yet, you should go check it out. It was a blast. Logan was great. The next time we have him on, if he's extended, I'll tell him the story and say, so 0.00001% of your contract to us. We'll send you our wiring number.
Thank you in advance.
Yeah. Yes. Seems fair.
It's a good passive source of income.
Be fair. Seems fair.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of really good mailbag questions to get to, Lyle. Before we get to the mailbag questions, though, do you want to read an ad?
Yeah. Let's talk to you guys about our friends over at Pagacci's Pub 85. You guys know that's over in Kirkland. It's this awesome neighborhood bar with great food and drinks, and there's games like pool and darts, and there's 20 TVs in that place. What a great time to be watching sports. With March Madness currently going, opening day is right around the corner, there's still spring training going on, football or hockey and basketball are in full swing. Go over to Pub 85. It's a blast, you guys, especially for March Madness. You can watch all the games, hang out with your friends, and if you go during happy hour, you get drink specials that are $3 to $4 from 2 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those are some pretty awesome happy hour deals. So again, $3 to $4 drinks, 2 to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. You can check that all out at Pagotcha's Pub 85 in Kirkland.
And before we get into the mailbag episode, a reminder to you guys, if you want to have your questions heard on this mailbag, along with a lot of other perks, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/MarineLairPod. You get access to ad-free episodes. You get mailbag priority. So if you have a question every week that you want answered on the podcast, you'll jump right to the top of the list. And you have access to a monthly video call with Lyle and I to answer any and all Mariners questions you have. So the place to go do that is patreon.com/MarineLairPod. That's patreon.com/MarineLairPod. Ad-free episodes, mailbag priority, monthly video call. It's some really great perks. So that's patreon.com/MarineLairPod.
Can I do one other housekeeping thing?
Oh, yes. We have a couple, actually. But yes, go ahead.
Or do you want to save it for after the first question? You tell me.
No, you can do it now.
Okay. So we mentioned our friends at the Hall earlier about Queen Anne Beer Hall. I want to turn your attention from there to Occidental Hall on Occidental Ave, because that is where we are going to be hosting some of our Marine Lair Pod opening day festivities. Yeah, we're going to go all out this year. We're going to have opening day festivities. We want to hang out with the people as we welcome in not just the new baseball season and the new Mariners season, but potentially the most exciting and anticipated Mariners season we've ever watched. You've got to start it off on the right foot. You've got to have opening day events. So come hang out with us. What that will look like is, if you come over to Occidental Hall, you can hang out with us on opening day from 5 to 7 p.m. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking ball with people. We're going to try to do some fan interviews. There's going to be great food and drinks inside for you to get your hands on. So you mark that down, 5 to 7 pregame, hang out at Occidental Hall with us. And then we're going to do something that I actually don't think we've done before, and it's going to be really fun. So postgame, if you've seen Occidental Hall, you can picture it. If not, I'll explain it. There's an upstairs area at Occidental Hall that is meant for a lot of recording spaces, and it holds about 40 to 50 people upstairs. So after the game, about 30 to 45 minutes after the final out, TJ and I are going to tape Friday's podcast live from upstairs at Occidental Hall, and you guys can come and join and watch it live and sit down and hang out for it live, because that Friday podcast is going to be us just talking about the first game of the year and recapping opening night and recapping the game and all the festivities. And it'll be open for you guys to come sit and hang out at. So you've got 2 chances to come hang out with us. Hopefully you do both. 5 to 7 p.m. pregame, 30 minutes after the game, postgame, where you can watch our live podcast recording, and we'll be hanging out for a bit after. All of that is over at the Hall on Occidental, or Occidental Hall on Occidental Avenue.
And a huge shout out to the Hall and to Corona for making this happen. When you come by, we'll have plenty of Corona giveaway stuff. Yeah. Pregame.
Yes.
Yeah, pregame. We will have, I'm not exactly sure yet, but we will have things to give away to anyone who comes and shows up. And then after, again, we will also have a lot of that same stuff. If you came to some of our Corona events last year, we have another batch on deck this year. The format will be a little bit more like this, like what we're doing on opening day, just a little bit different. But they will include podcast tapings, they will include watching Mariners games, and getting Corona gear at a Hall location. Our next, I don't have the schedule in front of me, I'm going to say April 26th is our first in-season one, and these are, for the most part, going to be on Sundays.
Yeah, it's roughly about once a month. But our first one is opening day, and yes, good call. It's all going to be sponsored by Corona. Shout out to Corona, you guys are awesome. But come on out to the Hall on Occidental on opening day, because it's going to be a blast, and we can't wait to see you guys there.
Second housekeeping thing, if you're checking our social media channels on Thursday, you might already know about this. If you haven't checked our social media channels yet, I would go over to our Instagram, at Marine Lair Pod on Instagram, because we have a giveaway ahead of opening day. We're partnering up with Honda and Toyota of Seattle for a giveaway for that Tuesday Yankee game, Tuesday, March 31st. You have a chance to win 2 free tickets, free parking, and a ride to the game from the Honda and Toyota of Seattle dealership in Soto. So what you need to do for that, if you go to our Instagram page and you click on the video, it's very clearly labeled. It says Mariners Giveaway. You can find all the details on there, but I can also read the details to you now if you want to go do that while you're listening to this podcast. Because honestly, why not? Free tickets to go see the Yankees? That's a pretty good deal. What you have to do is you have to follow us on Instagram, at Marine Lair Pod. You have to follow both Honda and Toyota of Seattle. They're 2 different accounts. One is at Honda of Seattle. One is at Toyota of Seattle. And then you need to go leave a comment on that post about your favorite Mariners opening day memory. It can be whatever. We've gotten quite the variety of posts. I'm just going to put it that way. There's one specifically I'm thinking of that's kind of disgusting, but it still technically counts that someone left on that post. So that's all you need to do. You need to follow us. You need to follow Honda of Seattle. You need to follow Toyota of Seattle. You need to comment on that post for a chance to win some free Mariners tickets. So that's our second bit of housekeeping.
That'll be Logan's second start, too. So, hey, if you want to see Logan go put Aaron Judge in a body bag, you might as well go try to win the tickets, right? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Okay,
and
well,
hey, if Logan faces Aaron Judge in a clutch situation, you can make a personal guarantee while you're at the game that Aaron Judge will get out because the man has no clutch.
Well, during the regular season against the Mariners, he's usually pretty good.
Well, not when it matters, though. Yes, against the Mariners, he's good. But when it comes down to something that matters, which is why I'm saying maybe a late-game situation, he'll strike out.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Last year he hit a home run, but also, remember who it was against?
Oh, yeah, it was Carlos Vargas.
It was Carlos Vargas, not Logan Gilbert. So,
All right, let's dive into this mailbag. We have a lot of really good questions to get to, and let's start off with Josh on Patreon. Josh says, if you could do a time machine trade at the deadline between the 2001 and 2025 Mariners, that would be such a win-win for both teams, they would both make it to the World Series. What would it be?
The thing about the 01 Mariners is they were so good. They didn't need that much help. But if I were to make a trade, I would assume that Cade Anderson here in 2026. Well, is he counting just the 25 roster or does he mean 26?
No, 25. That's it.
Okay, so he just means 25. Okay.
And the trade needs to make both teams better.
Right. See,
you want to hear what I got?
Sure, I was just going to say, if it was 26, what I would do is assume Cade Anderson could be up by August, late August, September, and then you could trade George Kirby to the 01 Mariners for Ichiro. Because right field, I think, is the weakest spot in the Mariners lineup. Now, you'd have to add some prospects into that trade, but it would be Kirby and some high-end prospects for Ichiro to play right field at the deadline.
You would have to do a major league for major league trade in this scenario. So the way I went about this, you're right. The 0-1 Mariners did not have a weakness. They had the best ERA in the league, and they scored the most runs in the league. They had the best starting staff, best bullpen, and best starting lineup. Kind of hard to poke a hole in that. The 2025 Mariners, their weakness was their starting rotation. I kind of narrowed it down to where I looked at where did the team struggle in the postseason. Because that helped me get to the answer of this question a little bit easier. My mock trade for this is I trade, get this, Jorge Polanco to DH on the 0-1 Mariners, and I get back Jamie Moyer.
And you do what with Edgar on the 0-1 Mariners?
Edgar Martinez had a 300 OPS in the ALCS. You know why the Mariners did not make the World Series in 2001? Because their lineup went into the toilet.
But
I'm trying to take. I know it sounds crazy.
Okay, but
we're talking about winning a 7-game series. That's the 0-1 Mariners had no problem in the regular season, but in the postseason they clearly needed something drastic to jolt them. So I'm offering them Mariners ALDS hero Jorge Polanco. And I'm getting back Jamie Moyer to start in the ALCS because the Mariners got too many bad starts in the ALCS, and Jamie Moyer was great in the ALCS in 01.
I mean, do you have all the hindsight already at this trade deadline of both teams? Because Edgar had a 160 OPS plus in 01.
That's why I said I was looking at the postseason. Because both the teams are loaded.
But the trade happens in August. It's the trade deadline.
We're going to have to make a tough trade here because it has to be a major league for major league. These teams are not making the World Series by acquiring bench players.
Okay. What if, with my trade, if you were to trade a pitcher to go get... Well, because, okay, right field then for the 20... Because if this is the 25 Mariners and not the 26 Mariners, at least... okay, no. I was going to say in the regular season, Canzone had a good year, and then in the postseason... So I guess
what makes this hard is the 0-1 team doesn't need anything. But if you were to nitpick in the postseason, their offense was bad.
Okay, then I'm gonna still trade Kirby and prospects for Ichiro. And if you absolutely need a starter in 25, then you would have called up Durangelo Senja just the way the Blue Jays did Trey Savage if you really needed the extra starter. Otherwise, you live without Kirby, you go with Wu, you go with Logan.
Well, Wu's not healthy.
Well, this is part of the problem. Is the trade in August or is the trade in October? Because you don't know that Wu's hurt.
The trade's in August.
So, you do not know that Wu's hurt in this scenario. So, yes, I would, at that time, bank on Wu, bank on Gilbert, bank on Luis, bank on Bryce if you had to, and then in a pinch, if you need Durangelo Senja, you do it, but you go get Ichiro to play right field. Ichiro's a Hall of Famer.
Maybe I would choose someone else besides Jorge Polanco, but I still think I'd want Jamie Moyer back because the 2025 Mariners needed another dog in the rotation. And you can't trade for Freddie Garcia from the 0-1 Mariners and still expect that team to make the World Series. It would be less likely.
Could you have traded Gino after acquiring him to the 0-1 Mariners to replace David Bell?
But Gino had the biggest hit in franchise history.
Well, that's
I
true.
can't trade him.
Well, but the bases were loaded with nobody out. Couldn't they have gotten a run across and then Munoz closes it?
Who's coming up after Gino in that scenario? If it was Dom Canzone, then no.
This is a hard question and a really good question for that matter.
It's tough. I go and I look at the Mariners postseason stats, offensively. If I'm getting the 2000, if I'm trying to boost the 2001 offense, I can't trade Cal, good offensive player. I can't trade Julio, good offensive player. I can't trade Randy, who stunk in the postseason and stunk down the stretch. I have to find a middle ground here that makes them better.
All right. Again, there is no perfect answer to this question. It's a really, really good question that was asked. And to all you listening, drop it in the comments on YouTube. What would your trade be? I'd love to hear.
Next question on the mailbag comes from Xander on Patreon. Xander's question is, with potentially no JP, how would you guys play it? Option number 1 for your middle infield. Cole Young at shortstop, Leo Rivas at second base. Option number 2, Leo Rivas at shortstop, Cole Young at second base. Option number 3, Colt at shortstop, Cole Young at second base. 4, bring in someone who is not on the major league roster on a minor league deal.
Yeah, there is a little bit of Dylan Moore stuff floating around today because he just got let go by the Phillies, and there's some Mariners people online that are like, well, I would think about it. Listen, as somebody who was a longtime Dylan Moore fan, no.
I'm calling that AI slop.
Yeah. I hate to bring up the number again, but I'm going to bring up the number again and rehash some old wounds. Dylan Moore, for the final 3 months of his Mariners tenure, for a guy that was on the roster to hit left-handed pitching, OPS 140 against left-handed pitching over the stretch of 3 months. Not batting average. OPS 140. I'm out.
I don't think they're going to re-sign him. They don't have a need for Dylan. Again, they have Leo Rivas.
And for that reason, to answer Xander's question, I would go with option number 2. Leo Rivas plays short. Cole Young plays second base. I don't think J.P. Crawford's going to be out that long. And the most recent reports from the Mariners is he's only going to be down for a couple days. The other side of this is he's only had 18 plate appearances in spring training, so he hasn't hit a lot. But if he needs a few extra days on the IL, Leo Rivas can start the first week of the year at short. You can actually, so one final thing. You can actually still retroactive a player when you put him on the IL at the start of the year from something that happened in spring training. You can just only go a maximum of 3 days back. So if you were going to put JP on the IL on March the 26th, retroactive to the 23rd, he'd only miss a week. You could play Leo Rivas for a week, and JP comes back after that. I think that's the solution.
Play Leo for longer than a week if you have to.
Sure.
Leo Rivas for a month is totally fine. More than a month, probably not. To answer your question, Xander, I'm at number 2. I think Leo at short, Cole at second is by far the most likely. Colt would be fun to make the opening day roster. We haven't really gotten an indication that's going to happen. So I just don't think that's totally realistic at this point. I will say, we don't know for certain how much the Mariners view that extra first-round pick. Because that is the incentive right there. I honestly don't even think they would have to believe Colt Emerson is ready right now, and they would need to really value that first pick. Because otherwise, it would be smarter for him to get more comfortable in AAA against some more veteran, former big leaguers who throw a lot more junk, who could throw a lot more strikes than he sees in AA, a lot more quality strikes, just to get himself ready for when he gets to the big leagues, and guys are doing that, but throwing way harder.
The other part of that, too, is, because you're absolutely right. You talked about it on our last podcast. I did a post about it on social media, which you can go check out both of, that talk about the value of that PPI pick, the extra first-round draft pick, that the Mariners could benefit from if they called Colt Emerson up to be on the opening day roster. But he has to win Rookie of the Year. This is an interesting wrinkle. Colt Emerson, per BetMGM, in terms of their odds, is 11th in AL Rookie of the Year odds voting. The guys ahead of him, Trey Savage, Kazuma Okamoto, Kevin McGonigal, Carter Jensen, Munetaka Murakami, Samuel Basayo, Tatsuya Imai, Dylan Beavers, Connolly Early, and Chase DeLauder. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't think he'd win in that field. He could be good, but I don't think so. Fangraphs is projecting Kevin McGonigal as a rookie to have a 3-win season.
Yeah.
So you could tell, you could take a guess who the books and the projections really like to win Rookie of the Year.
Now, BetMGM may think that Colt Emerson's not going to get up till end of May, and that could be a reason the odds are currently lower. If he were to make the opening day roster, I bet you he shoots up a bit. But I'm guessing they're projecting he's not going to start the year on the roster, and that's a reason for it. But even if he did, there are some really good rookies. McGonigal's going to be the big one. Savage, if he's healthy, will be interesting, although he sounds like he's now going to start the year on the IL. And this is a guy that's had injury problems. So that's the latest Trey Savage update. But there's a couple of the guys from Japan. And I don't know, man. Remember seeing Carter Jensen, that final Royal Series of the year? He was tearing it up.
He hits bombs.
Yeah. He's good.
And it's not just that the Japanese players are good. They're pros. They've played in the top level leagues for a long time.
Right.
They have a foot up on everyone else.
It would be a tough battle. There's no doubt for Colt Emerson to win Rookie of the Year. Now, we said the same thing about Julio when he was in a rookie class with Torque, Adley Rutschman, and Bobby Witt Jr., but he did it. It's still going to be an uphill battle, and I think Julio was a little more ready than Colt Emerson currently is.
Next question comes from Dylan on Patreon. Dylan's question is, any spring training storyline / player performances from other AL West teams that stand out to you?
So in terms of teams, I'm going to keep hammering home the A's. I don't think they're going to beat the Mariners by any stretch, but I feel like they're a little slept on. I think most people believe the Astros will finish second in the division. Hembo on Wednesday said he thinks the Rangers finish in second. I mean, that A's offense just really hits. If they can get any level of half-quality pitching, they could be a 500 team. They could win 82, 83 games. So in terms of spring training storylines I'm watching, team-wise it'd be the A's, and player-wise, for me, I don't know how it couldn't be Wyatt Langford, because while you can't take spring training stats too seriously, he is pulverizing baseballs in spring training. And he, for as good as he's already been, this could be his breakout year in 26. So if you want a couple of breakout storylines, I'd look at those.
I went with a different team. I went with not just the Astros, but Yordan specifically. People are thinking he's going to have a great year. If you go look at MLB.com and you search up Yordan Alvarez, one of the top articles is Yordan Alvarez going to break Jeff Bagwell's single-season home run record for the Astros, which is 47. I'm going to say if someone hits 48 home runs in the American League West, they should be a pretty prominent storyline. Yordan right now, via Fangraphs, is projected to have a 4.5-win season as a DH. That's really good. Shohei Ohtani as a DH is projected for 5 wins, for context. This is how I thought of it. Outside of Mariners players, Cal and Julio, who's the next best player in the American League West?
When he's healthy, it's him. When Yordan Alvarez is healthy, he is the third most feared hitter on the planet. You can put Judge and Shohei in any order you want. It's Yordan third for me.
Exactly. So, in this case, there's no one who can swing the outcome of the season for another American League West team more than Yordan Alvarez. That's a pretty big storyline for me. He seems healthy. It seems like he's going to play a lot, and he crushes the Mariners. So, yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
His 3 All-Star seasons, 22, 23, and 24, before he got injured last year, OPS plus by year, 188, which was the year he hit the homer off Robbie Ray, and then 170 and 170, that's godlike numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Next question on the mailbag comes from Polycopter on Instagram, and the question is, who's the first Mariner we both met?
So, that I have memory of, it's Carlos Guillen, who was my favorite player as a really, really young kid. First game I ever went to, Carlos Guillen hit a homer, and I became obsessed with him after that until he left for the Tigers. We went to an autograph signing for Carlos Guillen at one point, and I got his autograph. I got to shake his hand. I was all fired up. So it was him, and then it was... Do you remember the name Ben Davis?
No.
He was an old Mariners catcher. I think he was the backup catcher for a couple years in the mid-2000s. And he did an autograph signing in Kirkland. Same thing. Waited online to meet him and get the autograph and did that. So I think those are the two. I think Guillen was first.
I'm going to be totally honest. Maybe this is me having a bad memory. I cannot think of a single Mariners player I've actually ever met before we got credentialed. I don't think I ever went to an autograph signing.
Never met one at FanFest or anything?
I don't think so, man. Not that I remember. I looked through photos. I asked around. Maybe I did, but the only ones I actually remember are the ones I've met while we've been credentialed. I met Aaron Goldsmith when I was a college freshman. This would have been March of 2017. Maybe I'll ask him about it one of the next times we see him. Hey, Gold, you remember when I walked up to you when I was like 19 years old and it's like, oh, Aaron Goldsmith, so nice to meet you. My name's TJ. But in terms of players, I don't think so. Like, actually met? Can't think of one.
You never waited online for an autograph at FanFest?
Not that I can remember.
Interesting. You know, now that you mentioned the broadcaster story, that sparked one more memory. It's not a player, but it does make me wish I could have appreciated the moment in time. I must have been 4, 5, 6 years old, really young, and we were at FanFest. And we were walking inside on one of the 200-level areas, and nobody was around but my dad and I, and Dave Niehaus walked right by us. And my dad stopped him, and he wanted to say hey, and he tried to say, like, oh, Lyle, do you know who this is? And I didn't. I really wish I'd had the appreciation for it back then. There was nothing I could do about it. I was 5 or 6 years old, but I wish, because that was the only time I ever met Dave Niehaus, and I don't really remember it.
So that's not something you remember. That's something your dad remembers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have insane vivid memories of meeting Carlos Guillen. There's a couple old photos, but it's not like you have the perfect memory of it.
Maybe I don't have enough photos. It's entirely possible. I like Lyle. I went to FanFest a ton, but I remember from FanFest was listening to like the dugout talks, and then hitting in the outfield and throwing in the pen. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Less so autographs. But if you like look around my room, if you like look in, like I have a bin full of baseballs. Some of them are signed. I don't really think I got all those signatures. Like I think I have a Dylan Moore signature. I think, or maybe it was Sam Haggerty.
Oh,
maybe. I honestly maybe when we're done recording, I'm gonna go look at those.
Well, Haggerty's a friend of the pod.
I know, but this must have been before. No, like that wouldn't make sense because he wasn't a Mariner. This would have been in the 2010s. Sam Haggerty wasn't a Mariner in the 2010s.
No, and neither was Demo except for 1 year.
You'll have to. I'll have to go double check. I know I have a Robinson Cano autograph, but I did not get that one. Our friend Ryan Latica got that one.
Oh,
he was at a game and got his autograph and gave me the ball.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, that's pretty cool. But I didn't actually get those signatures myself. So,
okay.
So I don't remember meeting them. But that's a good question. Next question comes from a user I can't pronounce on YouTube, and the question is, Taking a wide look at the schedule, which month do you think will be the most challenging, and which month do you think will be the easiest for the Mariners this year?
Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do most challenging.
Most challenging, I think, pretty confidently, is going to be August. Now, the good news is the home and road games are decently split that month. It's not like they have any crazy, crazy road trips. But the teams they're going to play are going to be tough. After they wrap up that Twin series, the month of August goes Tigers, Rays, at Yankees, at Astros, at Brewers, home against the Cubs, home against the Phillies, at the Blue Jays. That has to be their toughest month of the year. Those are all competitive teams and good teams.
In a row.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox series is one game in August, 2 games in September.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can count that too. It's a brutal stretch. Now, hopefully the team is playing its best at that point. Everyone's sort of worked through their injuries. The trade deadline would have passed at this point, so the Mariners can be full firepower. But if there's going to be a reason the Mariners miss the playoffs by chance this year, it'll be this stretch right here. We remember what happened in August when they went on the road last year against worse teams. They sucked. They all looked awful. And in this case, all these teams are good or should be good. We'll see. That's brutal. I agree with you. So my pick was August as well.
I wonder who's going to be available at the trade deadline this year, because the Mariners are going to have some room to add. I wonder what bats are going to be available. We might have to look into that for a later episode.
Yeah, potentially. And then easiest month?
I think it's June. I think June will be their
Really?
easiest month. They don't have a total cakewalk in June. There's some teams that they'll play, like the Mets. They'll be at the Tigers. They do play the Red Sox. But they also get the Nationals. They get the Pirates. They get the Angels in 2 of 3 games in that month. And then they play the Orioles 7 times over the course of about a week and a half. I don't know exactly what the Orioles are going to be this year. They totally underperformed last year. But if they're a 500 team again, that's not some great opponent they're going up against. Point being, at the very least, the fact they get 3 games against the Nationals, 3 games against the Pirates, and 2 games against the Angels, yeah, like, those are games you should absolutely win.
The reason I didn't choose that month is because they're on the road a lot of the month. That's tough.
So what did you choose?
I chose May. So in May, they're going to get the Royals twice. They're going to get the White Sox. They're going to get the Braves, who really underperformed last year and didn't churn their roster that much. They're just kind of hoping for bounce backs. Then you have the A's, and then you have the Diamondbacks. You could make a case where all of those teams are at or under 500.
You could make a case a lot of those teams are over 500. I think the Royals are going to be good, man. You know they can pitch. You're going to get a full year of Carter Jensen. You don't need me to tell you about Bobby Wood Jr. You get Michael Garcia. You get Pasquantino. I don't know what Jack Caglione's going to look like this year. I think the Royals may get into the playoffs. I'm not saying they'll have a better record than the Mariners. I think the Royals are good. And then you list off a lot of other teams in May, like the Braves, the Padres, the Astros, the Diamondbacks. I mean, there's competitive teams in that month.
I think the first month's pretty easy, and I think the last month is pretty easy, too. If you're looking at other options. You know what's helps out a lot in the last month? The Rockies.
Well, yeah.
Mariners get the gift of playing the Rockies in, like, the second to last week of the season again.
Can they possibly have a team ERA of 7 again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kyle Freeland's their opening day starter, Lyle. Yes, they can.
Well, this is true.
And they get to play this one in Coors, so it might be an effect.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking more about what I just asked a couple minutes ago about who could be available at this deadline. I don't even know if I should open up this can of worms or not, because I already did it for so long with Kyle Tucker. You know who only has 2.5 years left on his deal at the deadline? Jordan.
It definitely pissed off Astros fans.
Oh, dude, there's not a lot I wouldn't give up for that guy. I'm going to be real.
Do you think Mariners fans would be okay blocking Laz?
I mean, let's just move on.
Okay. We got 2 more questions left. One question comes from Hi-Rez on Instagram, and the question is, what are your top 5 episodes of this podcast all time?
Can I make a slight pivot here and say we do that one to save for last, because it's a
You
fun
want to save
question
for
to
last?
end with?
Okay. All right, so we'll save that one. Let's go to Verb on Instagram. This question is, what are the chances Randy gets traded? If so, could it be for a washed Mike Trout?
Listen, I don't think they're going to trade for Mike Trout. As cool as it would be, he's owed a lot of money. You can't really rely on him in division. Also, the Angels and the Mariners do not make trades. It's probably been a few months since we brought this up, but we bring it up a lot during the offseason and during trade deadline time. There is one team, one singular team, that this regime, Jerry Dipoto, Justin Hollander, and crew, have never made a trade with in their tenure. They've made a trade with every other team except one, the Angels. There is bad blood there. I don't think those two parties want to work with each other at all. Maybe it's one-sided for all I know. I would have a hard time believing they work out a trade, much less a trade for Mike Trout. Yeah.
I think there's a chance Randy gets traded, especially given the mood preseason. It's not likely, but is there a chance? Yes, there is a chance. Randy's owed a lot of money, and if he's unhappy, he's a pending free agent. Since he's a Boris guy, he's not going to sign an extension. Something like that would, of course, be on the table. But we've talked about this in previous episodes. For Randy to get traded, he would need to be visibly unhappy, and he would need to be underperforming. Those two things would need to happen. If Randy was going to get traded, I don't think they would be trading for Mike Trout, even if the Mariners and Angels did make trades. Because Mike Trout is owed $37 million a year for the next 5 years. I mean, it's an untradeable contract. Right. The Angels will not be able to trade that deal unless they're eating all of the money. And I don't think the Angels would want to take on Randy's money and keep all of Trout's money for this scenario. They benefit nothing from that.
And for whatever reason, Mike Trout doesn't want to leave. I don't get it. I'll never understand it, but he does not seem to want to leave.
Loves the beach.
I guess. And doesn't seem to be interested in winning, apparently. Nope. I will say, if Randy gets traded, you're right. It will be because he's not hitting and he's unhappy. But if that were to happen, let's call it by mid to late May, there is a solution for the Mariners there. Because by the time Colt Emerson's ready, he could come up and play third. Brendan Donovan would probably start playing a lot more left field. And then Randy would move on in that scenario.
You wouldn't get a lot back for Randy, though, because he'll be expensive and he will have been underperforming. So you'd be trading him essentially at his lowest possible value.
You would. But the Mariners at that point, if that were to happen, and I don't think it will, but if it does, it would be them saying they need to shake things up. The chemistry in the clubhouse is off, and it's just not working. Yeah. And they'd be, let's say, by that point in the season, like 3 games under 500, and the team is underperforming too.
Yep. Let's get to the last question. High Res, top 5 podcast episodes of all time.
I don't know how number 1 isn't post-game of Game 1 of the ALDS for me. I mean,
really? You're going to laugh. I didn't even have that one in my top 5.
Anywhere?
No.
Dude.
I had a better one. I had a better one.
I mean, I
tried to pick like different things that made the episode great instead of just like a reason to yell. You know what I put? Kyle Tucker signing on the podcast.
Oh, that's on my list.
Yeah, good.
That's on the list. Don't get me wrong. It's there. But, dude, I mean, post-game of Game 1 of the ALDS, listen, if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, or even maybe an episode, you know that I have a short fuse during the year when it comes to the Mariners losing or not playing well or when bad decisions get made. I mean, you're talking 24 hours of me seeing legitimate red. The reaction that we've recorded, that we've given people the 2K code to say to us if they want to see it at the ballpark, because we're not going to send it out to people. Like, I don't even remember doing that. I was so mad that when I watched the video back, it's like, oh, I absolutely believe it happened, and I remember none of it. We get on this podcast, it must have been 5 hours after that home run, and I'm still just steam out the ears, just like MFing this and that. I mean, I'm so mad to the point where I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning that night, just responding to every person on Twitter that was or not just Twitter, all of our social media accounts that were saying, oh, I actually didn't hate the decision to leave Kirby in for Carpenter. It's like, what do you mean you didn't hate the decision? I mean, it it was seeing red for 24 hours that was also engulfed into a podcast episode. That is number one on my list.
So here's my thing about that. I did not even think that was the best podcast episode of that series.
Okay, so what was?
It was winning in Game 5. And I think the listeners agree. I did cross-reference a little bit with what the fans liked the most, a.k.a. who our most listened episodes. The Jorge Polanco walk-off episode in Game 5 is our most listened podcast episode of all time. So if I'm going to pick one from that series, I'm picking that one. Because that one also is positive energy. Instead of it just like, let's pick Lyle's 5... the 5 episodes Lyle ranted the most. Well, we could put the rant before the season last year on there, too, if we wanted to do that.
Okay. You're going through your list now. I've only talked about one episode.
I didn't put that one on there. That was just an example.
I'm just saying, you're going through a few on your list. All I've said is number one with the Kerry Carpenter post-game episode.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is Jorge Polanco's walk-off in Game 5. Okay. Yes, I'm not only picking mad moments. We've had so many great times on this podcast. Are you kidding? There's been so many happy moments. Yeah, Jorge Polanco's walk-off in Game 5, that's number 2. I put the Kyle Tucker thing number 3, and now we're just going back and forth between mad, happy, mad, happy. The Jared Kelenic trade is on my list. Is that on yours?
That one.
Is it?
Yep. So I had. So finish your top 5, and then I'll do my top 5 in order.
Well, here, just keep going.
Well, you haven't finished your top 5. Finish your top 5.
Okay, then the final one that I would have on my list is after Game 5 of the Geno Grand Slam, of the ALCS. Because, again, you talk about people being happy and floating on air and the city being vibrant. People were so thrilled. We were so thrilled. People were like on such a good wavelength of energy after that Grand Slam for every great reason. But that's also on my list. That one, in truth, is number 3. The Kyle Tucker rant's 4. The Kelenic episode's 5.
Okay, in order, I had Cal Raleigh number 1, because I think that is our best work from a guest perspective.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
So Cal's number 1. I put Kyle Tucker signing number 2, because that's probably the most fun I've had within an episode. Is that one. I put the Jared Kelenic one 3 because I remember how in shock we were that happened. And I know, like, Lyle had a deep connection to Kelenic at this point. We were totally thrown off. And that was also, Lyle, the reason I put that one number 3. I think that was our jumping off point as a podcast, which I think is very important. I think that was our, like, breakthrough to where we are right now. It sort of accelerated the growth for us to get to this point. And so I think that's really important.
It helped kickstart it, for sure.
It did. Number 4, Ryan Divish post-Scott Service firing. Because I don't think there's ever been an episode, especially an interview, we've got off and gone, wow. Besides that one.
I mean, there were so many takeaways from that interview. All right, admittedly, your list is way better than mine. I tried to put together some happy moments and some ranting moments. But, man, you picked some specific ones that are really good. The Divish one, I mean, the 2 things that stood out were, 1, just basically openly admitting, if the Mariners don't have a budget again this offseason, they're just going to trade Randy. That's what he said after Service got fired, basically 2 weeks after they just acquired Randy. And I was like, what? There was that, and then he's going into all the stories about some of the Mariners' decisions.
Don Wakamatsu. It's that they need a president of common sense.
Yeah,
all these things.
Divish clearly had a lot to get off his chest in that week, and he kind of did it all on our podcast.
From a listenership perspective, too, in terms of like what the fans wanted to listen to, we've never had an episode reset the market that high as Divish did. It was 50% more than our previous high at that point. So I was like, yeah, the people like this one. And then I had at number 5 Jorge Polanco's ALDS walk-off episode, and then I had an honorable mention for the final one. Well, not final one, but an extra one. I was really proud of the work we did after they lost Game 7.
Were you?
Getting on here and talking while everyone else is coping. We have to sit down and do a podcast. And we did great. We did great.
I mean, we were just coping while talking. I don't know if we were really like breaking things down. We were just miserable and dejected and furious and everything.
It was some of our best work as a podcast.
Oh, well, that's nice if you feel that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't happy the next day when, again, you were getting the rawest possible emotions you could out of us because that was 20 to 30 minutes after the final out. And we came on and just said, same old Mariners, what else do you expect? And a lot of people weren't happy about that.
They did not like that.
No, because they were like, this is one of the greatest seasons we've ever had, and you're saying same old Mariners. And it's like, well, this is what happens when you get the rawest form of emotion. Dude, our emotions were so raw that night, and we were so down in the dumps. We had a delayed realization of the complete fuck-up of the Andres Munoz situation. Mm-hmm. That night, we didn't even talk about it. It somehow had not registered in our heads how baffling that decision was. And then give it another 24 hours, and it's like, oh, wow. They fucked up big time.
I think I remember saying on that podcast, like, I didn't even hate the Bizarro move. I just hate that he threw the ball right down the middle to Springer. But, yeah, now hindsight, that was the wrong decision.
This is also part of the issue. In a lot of ways, it's good, because you're right. It was a very unique podcast episode. But it is part of the issue when you are extremely emotional in any way, shape, or form and start doing a podcast. Because we didn't get 24 hours to cope. We had to hop on and just do it.
Right.
So.
That's a good list. That's a good thought process question.
Yeah, admittedly, I left some good ones off. I can't believe I left Cal and Logan's interviews off my list. How dumb. Well,
Logan's interview was good. I don't know if it was top. No offense to Logan. Just, I don't know if it was top 5.
I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I mean,
we've had a lot of good episodes. It's a good problem to have.
It is. You're right. The Cal was a pretty reach the mountaintop type of episode. You're right. That was pretty cool. But yeah, no, that was a really good exercise. Again, when you guys send questions like that really provoke some thought and let you get in, and we allow you guys to get into our own heads to talk through some of our stuff, we love it. So we'll answer as many Mariners questions as you guys want on these things, but for questions like that, we love those too. Okay, good stuff. Great mailbag. You guys are awesome. As always, if you want priority on mailbag questions, again, make sure to go sign up for our Patreon, and you will get priority on mailbags every week when you send questions. With that just about wraps up this edition of the Marine Layer Podcast. You guys know the drill. If you want to listen to the full form podcast, you can do so wherever you get your audio pods. Make sure to download those episodes, guys. If you're listening, go rate and review. Please leave a 5-star review. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, it helps a ton. If you're watching on YouTube, go like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. That's the best way to support the YouTube channel. You get notified whenever we post content. You can check us out at our website, marinelayerpod.com. You can find all our episodes there. Merch is there. Again, our Patreon's there. That's marinelayerpod.com. And you'll find us across social media at marinelayerpod. That's TJ. I'm Lyle. As always, we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.